Okay, everybody. So it looks like we are live on Facebook. We are recording. I think we have everything. Okay. So this is week 8 of Fresh on Deck Mobile Farmers Market's Healthy Living class. I wanted to thank everybody for joining us these past 8 weeks. I know I wasn't here for a couple of them, but we are here. And if you want those week classes, you can join us for session B when the new season starts. And I have that scheduled for you all at the end of this presentation, as well as my contact information. My name is Jamel Hawkins. I am the Family Consumer Sciences Agent for DeKalb County with the University of Georgia Extension. And I do these classes weekly. And so we have, a break in between our session A and session B, but then we'll be right back with session B and we'll start our classes up again. So if you missed anything the first time, or if you wanted to join us for a week that you may have missed, then feel free to look at the schedule and see what classes you missed or want to come join us again. And then make sure you register if you want to join us on live. But if you are on Facebook Live, join us on Zoom, but if you're on Facebook Live, then just tune in whenever you want to tune in. It is recorded for you all. So let's go ahead and get started with week 8. It is trends in 2023. I know we see a lot of different things out there every day, the media, the everything, it's something news always popping up. And so I just wanted to talk about what we should think about first before we decide to, participate in trends or go on fat diets or whatever the case may be. And so this is just objectives for this week. For this lesson is that we'll learn how to evaluate some information from the internet because, the internet is just the internet. And so anybody can post to it. And so you don't know if you're getting good information for yourself or, if it's just somebody trying to sell you something or whatever the case may be. We'll learn about the 5 W's. We'll talk a little bit about fat diets and then also some of the health and wellness trends of 2023. So we can just be sure that we're able, if you want to participate, then make sure that you're able to do that safely. So first, when we are evaluating information, not all information is created equally. Some things are just one person here just says, this is what I want to talk about. And they just talk about their personal experience. Sometimes somebody is wanting to sell you something and, that is their intention when they put things on the internet, or some things is created from like universities and, research things where, they have tried and tested information and then they put that information out there for the general public to be able to take in. So remember that anybody can access the internet, anybody can publish on the internet. You can publish on the internet if you want to. And there is no editor, there's no fact checkers, there's no peer review process for the free content that is available on the visible web. So that's how I just want you all to be mindful of, if you see something that on a website or something, you're like, oh, this looks like fun. Oh, I want to try this. Oh, this looks good. The recipes, they can be like that. But then if you're canning, you want to make sure that you're getting research-based information so that you're able to can food properly, or if a diet or something that you want to do, whatever the case may be, making sure that you're able to make sure that this is the healthiest or the best information possible. And so that's where we come in with the 5 W's, the who, what, where, when, and why. We're going back to elementary school. We're going back to that critical thinking that we had, just so that we can be mindful of the things that we're taking in. Who is the author? What are their qualifications? What is their affiliation? What is the purpose of this content? Is it fact checked? Is the grammar good? I know my best thing that I like going and looking on websites is looking at the grammar, checking for the grammar. Sometimes, if you're putting presentations on together, then you kind of miss a word or two because it's only your eyes looking at it, but making sure that this information has good grammar and that everything flows together. Where is it published? Is it a .com? Is it a .gov? Is it a .org? Is it a .edu? We'll talk a little bit about that where in the next few slides. And then also when was this item published? Is it up to date, or is this an article from 1995? Or is this from 2005? Or is this from last week? We want to make sure that all the information that we're receiving is up to date information, because one thing might contradict another because they had more testing, or it's just newer technology, and so it's more up to date. And then also why is this information out here? What is the purpose of it? Are you selling something to me? Are you promoting something to me? What is your agenda? And so that's just some of the things that we just want to make sure that we're looking at when we are, like, if you see an article online, or if you see something that you want to try online on social media, whatever the case may be, then making sure that we're getting just these questions out before you go ahead and do something. You want to make sure that you are doing what's best for yourself, right? So this is just the where is it coming from. So .com is a commercial space. The company owns this particular website. A .org is like a nonprofit organization. So if you use nonprofit organization sites, think about the organization's individual agenda and how it's likely to influence the way they present that particular information. So it could be really good information. You just want to make sure that they're not trying to push you a certain way or sway you a certain way, whatever the case may be. A .edu is an educational source, so it's from a college or university like UGA.edu. That is where I'll get a lot of my information from. Granted, I work for the University of Georgia, but it is an educational source, and so they do the research-based information, things like that, before they put it out onto the internet. And then a .gov is a U.S. government. These sites are produced by some of the United States government, like federal, state, county, city, or government. So like DeKalb that type thing. Also .mil is like U.S. military. These sites are produced by branches of the U.S. military. .net is an internet related service. That means that the site has something to do with providing internet related services. K12 is like a K through 12 school. So like DeKalb County K12.com or something like that. Those are those types of sites. Where it's kindergarten through 12th grade, you'll get school-based things. And then if you see like a tilde, which is like a little squiggle in the web address, it is usually created by an individual. So you want to make sure that individuals are citing their sources when you're looking at information. So another thing that I want to make sure that you all get is that before you want to try, or if you're interested in something, any health and wellness related trend or something like that, you want to make sure that you're consulting with your primary care physician first, especially if it is something that relates to your diet or exercise or something like that, just to make sure that you are able to participate if that is what you want to do. But that just goes to, if you have that relationship, or making sure that you're reaching out to that primary care physician so that certain things might interact with your medication, or if you're not supposed to be doing something, then, you talk to that primary care physician first before you try to participate in any of these trends. So we want to talk a little bit about fad diets. We want to make sure that everybody knows that, if it promises quick weight loss, if it cuts out certain food groups or foods, if it sounds too good to be true, if there's good or bad type foods, if they make weight loss claims that are not based on scientific evidence, and they contradict recommendations by major health organizations, then we want to try to stay away from those fad diets because they do have negative impacts on our health. such as you could be deficient in important nutrients because you're taking away like whole food group items. It could be a higher in saturated fat and cholesterol that might lead to heart disease. You could have a risk for dehydration, and nobody wants that because you just feel terrible. It could be detrimental too, but then also a risk of bone loss, certain types of cancers, and then you might have a risk for kidney diseases and heart, kidney stones and things like that with like these low carbohydrate diets or high protein diets like the Atkins or protein power or other severely restrictive carbohydrate diets. So if you see that a diet is popular because they promote like an easy fix to something like weight loss or something like that, then that might be something that you want to just think about before you decide to do it, or if you do decide to do it, making a choice. So keep that thing in mind. And if you are looking for something that if you are looking to eat a particular way, or you're wanting to change your diet in any way, then look at the My Plate. It is not taking out anything really, it's more of adding in things into your diet. So you want to try to add in more fruits and vegetables into your diet, making sure that this is what the My Plate looks like. If you've seen it before, it is basically like a dinner plate type. And so half of your plate is fruits and vegetables, and then you have your whole grains and your your proteins, and then also your dairy as well. And so your plate could look like this, or it could be like a combination, like a casserole or something like that, that has all types of things like vegetables, grains, and protein and dairy all in one, and that type of dish, but that still contains all of these different types of your sections. So you have your fruits, your vegetables, your grains, your protein, and your dairy. So you're not taking anything away. You are adding in more of the whole grains and proteins and things like that. So we just want to be mindful. If that is something that you are looking at, I suggest going to myplate.gov so that you can look at all the information that they have up there. So next is just a fact or fiction video from the Penn Medicine. And it's just a little video that talks a little bit about fat diets that I thought that you all might like to see. So give me just a couple of seconds while I mute myself and take my video off so that you all can see it.
From Atkins to body cleansers, there are tons of fad diets out there, and it seems like there's even more misinformation about them. I'm Dr. Janine Darby from Penn Medicine, and today we're going to separate fact from fiction when it comes to fad diets. Myth number 1, it can be dangerous to lose weight quickly. Believe it or not, this is fact. It can be unhealthy and even counterproductive to lose weight too quickly. When you start a crash diet, you're shocking your body into a routine it isn't used to. By losing weight too quickly, you can actually send your body into survival mode. This comes in the form of a slow metabolism, which should sound very unappealing to anyone who is trying to lose weight. These extremely low-calorie fad diets also typically starve your body of the necessary nutrients, vitamins, and minerals that you need to function properly. Myth number 2, skipping meals can cause you to gain weight. This one is part fact and part fiction. In an effort to try and slim down quickly, people sometimes skip meals in order to cut calories. Take it from me, this is a bad idea. Technically, if you consume less food in a given time, your weight will go down. But that's often only a temporary result, and you can actually be doing more harm than good. When you're this hungry, your body craves foods that are high in fat and sugar. So rather than skipping meals, try to eat multiple smaller meals throughout the day and swap out bad snacks for healthier options like fruits and vegetables. Myth number 3, eating fat will make you fat. This is fiction. Most of the time when you think of fat in your diet, you think of fried foods or a fatty piece of meat. These fats, which are saturated or trans fats, are bad for you and can contribute to cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and obesity. But not all fats are created equal, and some could even help you in your weight loss journey. These healthy fats, also known as monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats, are found in foods like nuts, oils, and fish. They help to increase your internal body temperature and accelerate calorie burning. They should still be consumed in moderation, but don't let the word fat scare you into completely eliminating them from your diet. When considering a diet and exercise plan, it's best to steer clear of fad diets and instead discuss your goals with your primary care provider. To learn more about Penn Primary Care, visit.
All right, everybody. So on our
website
next slide,
and
we're
stay
going to be
healthy out
going right into, we're going to be going right into our trends. And so one of the trends now that, everybody has seen, is micro workouts. So what is even a micro workout? So from what I've done research on, micro workouts are multiple short, like 10-minute exercise sessions throughout the day. And so you can break up the longer recommended 30 minutes a day into like 3 10-minute mini sessions to fit better into your everyday schedule. And so what we can tell is that here, this is from a physical activity is anything that gets your body moving. So each week that adults need 150 minutes of moderate intensity physical activity, according to the current physical activity guidelines for Americans, So we know that the 150 minutes of physical activity each week sounds like a lot, but you don't have to do it all at once. And so you can break this up. Usually it's like 30 minutes a day of physical activity is the recommended. So in that, in your day, you can break up that 30 minutes any way that you like, because any movement is good movement. And so if you are tight on time, if you haven't been active in a while and you want to get back being active, and you can't find the time to do it, or your busy schedule, whatever the case may be, whatever our barriers are in order to getting our physical activity in for the day, then this is a great way that we're able to just start small. And that's what I've been trying to tell everybody these past few weeks, is just start small. 5 minutes at a time is better than no minutes. And if you can't get anything but the 5 or 10 minutes in your day, then that's better than not doing anything. And so here is just some physical activity recommendations for different age groups. And so it is different for, a 3-year-old versus a 65-year-old. Of course, there's a difference, right? So physical activity for 3 to 5-year-olds are usually every day throughout the day. It's active play. Kids that age seem to have nonstop batteries anyway, so they're going to get their activity in. And by the time that they're 6 to 17 years old, there's a 1 hour or more physical activity daily. And so it's things like vigorous running, or as part of the 60 minutes, at least 3 days a week. We want to make sure our children are doing some vigorous activity, strengthening their muscles, and then also strengthening their bones as well. So when you get to adult age, 18 to 64, at least 150 minutes a week, such as moderate intensity activities such as brisk walking. You can dance around your house with music on. You can clean even. You work up a really good sweat if you're cleaning, especially if you're vacuuming or you're, whatever you're scrubbing, you can work up a sweat doing that as well. That could be moderate intensity activity. And then try to doing at least 2 days of activities that strengthen your muscles. So that could be like at-home things. You don't have to go out and purchase weights. You can just use items from your home that have a little bit of weight to them, and using things like that, or even just using your own body weight. And then also for adults ages 65 and older, there's still the recommendation of doing the 150 minutes a week of intensity, and then also doing the 2 days a week of muscle strengthening, but then also adding in activities to improve your balance. And that could be not even just for 65 years old and plus, that could be activity for people my age, because I too am so clumsy, and so I need to be improving my balance so that it won't be detrimental in the end, because if I fall now, it's over with. The day is done. And so we want to just make sure that we're having our balance so that we are mitigating the risk of falling, because nobody wants to do that now or at 65. And then also just how to get here. You can, in weeks prior, when I've talked about like your goals and the things that you want to do, this is one of the ways that you could be able to achieve some of the goals that you have set. Like I said before, not everybody's goal is to do what you want to do. And so if I'm saying something that doesn't apply to your goals that you have, then just leave it where it is. And so how do you get there? So if your goal is to have 30 minutes a day of activity each week, you want to make sure that we're picking activities that we like to do, because who wants to do 30 minutes of something that you hate? 30 minutes of running or 30 minutes of whatever. If you don't want to do that, don't do that. So maybe picking items like swimming. You might want to have more than the micro workout for your swimming, because once you're in the pool, you might as well go ahead and be there. But picking an activity if you like to dance, find some of those dancing activities or videos and use that for your activity. And then also learn the magic of the 10-minute chunk. Like I was saying, it doesn't have to be the whole 30 minutes. It could be 5 minutes. It could be 10 minutes. It could be whatever you want it to be. Just getting in those 30 minutes and then choosing your activities that are moderate intensity. Work up to your goal slowly. So if you haven't been active in a while, don't do the full 30 minutes if that's something that you feel like you're not able to do right now. And that's okay. Just do what you feel like you can do, and work slowly up into your goals, and then spread that over at least 3 to 5 days. We want to be active for 3 to 5 days over the week. So here is one of these 10-minute physical activity videos. You know, I always like to share these little types of videos like these. There's going to be another one at the end, but this one is a 10-minute seated cardio workout for beginners. That's the title of it. And so this is just one of those ones where if you need to sit down, or if you just want to sit down while you're doing your activity, if you're doing this at your desk at work, or if you are at home and you're sitting in a chair, then this is one of those 10-minute things that you can do whenever you can find those 10 minutes in your time. So give me just a second while I mute myself and you can watch some of the.
Gonna take the arms on the outside, bring them in and back. Every time you bring your arms together, you want to squeeze your chest fibers, all right? Squeeze the chest muscles together, pull the shoulder blades back. Inhale and exhale. Now, as we're doing this, remember, move at your own tempo, because I'm going to be moving at my tempo. So you choose what works well for you and you keep it going. We're going to be together for only 10 minutes. There you go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 9. 10 more. 10, that's right. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
Okay, so that was just one of those videos where if you are wanting to have more time, then if you wanting to carve out some time, then that could be one of those 10-minute things that you can do. You can do it 5 minutes at a time. So stop the video halfway through and then start whenever you have another break at work or whatever the case may be. And so that is one of the ways of being more physically active throughout the day. Those micro workouts is just the daily recommended for for the physical guidelines of Americans, just broken down into smaller chunks. So one of the next trends that I have been seeing lately is just sober curious or mocktails. And so a lot of people have been wanting to change their relationship with alcohol. And so there are more mocktails and non-alcoholic beverages that you see on the market and in restaurants more than ever. And to reduce some of the alcohol-related harms, the 2020 to 2025 dietary guidelines for Americans have recommended that adults of legal drinking age can choose not to drink or to drink in moderation by limiting intake to 2 drinks or less in a day for men and 1 drink or less in the day for women on days when alcohol is consumed. So the guidelines also do not recommend that individuals who do not drink alcohol start drinking for any reason. And if adults of legal drinking age choose to drink alcoholic beverages, drinking less is better for your health than drinking more. And so this is just one of the things that I've been seeing lately is people have been wanting to do without. And that's just one of the dietary guidelines for Americans. Their recommendation is to do without or to do in moderation. So 1 or drink or less in a day for a woman and 2 drinks or less in the day for men, or just non-drinking at all. And so people who shouldn't be drinking at all, the guidelines note that if you're pregnant or might be pregnant, if you're younger than 21, if you have certain medical conditions or taking certain medications that can interact with alcohol, if you're recovering from an alcohol use disorder, or if you're unable to control the amount that you drink, then they recommend that you do not drink at all. But there are lots of options that are out here on the internet, on the in bars or in restaurants, even in the grocery stores. They have lots of different, flavors of drinks that are non-alcoholic. And so if this is just something that you wanted to try, there's lots of different recipes out there. This one I actually got from the University of Michigan. They had a pomegranate citrus fizz, and it's pomegranate juice and orange juice and fresh limes, pomegranate seeds, navel oranges, and club soda. And so these are just some of the things that you can do from your home if you're looking to spice up a drink that you have using those fresh juices. I will recommend that you use the 100% juices if you do have those, just so that we can decrease our intake of added sugars. But these are just some of the things that you could be willing to do if you wanted to try the mocktail route. There's lots of things out there. There's lots of different other things out there. And so the recommendation is the dietary guidelines for Americans is just to limit your intake of alcohol. And so that's one of the trends that's out there now. And here it is. And then also the last trend that we have is the sleep hygiene or sleep syncing. And so what is it? It's just having both a bedroom environment and routines that promote consistent, uninterrupted sleep. And so sleep syncing, this is what I found on the internet because I couldn't find what sleep syncing was. But sleep syncing is what they say is aligning your body's natural circadian rhythm to your daily routine, creating a routine that makes sure that your body is sleeping and waking up when it should be. It helps improve sleep quality, increase energy levels, and maintaining a healthy body that have been linked to sleep syncing. And so your sleep is always good. Sleep is always a great thing to have. And so these are just some of the sleep duration recommendations from the Sleep Foundation. If you are a newborn, or if you have a newborn, if you know somebody that has a newborn, the recommendation is that they sleep 14 to 17 hours in a day, and that is a lot. But it doesn't seem like they are, but they are. And then that goes on to, like, if you have a school age child that's 6 to 13, their recommendation is 9 to 11 hours of sleep. If you're an adult 26 to 64, your recommendation is 7 to 9 hours of sleep. 10 might be appropriate, but 10 hours and 6 hours might be appropriate, but anything outside of that, it's not recommended. And then as an older adult, 65 plus, the recommendation is 7 to 8 hours. 9 hours or 5 to 6 hours could be appropriate, but anything outside of that is not recommended, because people are different. that 5-6 hours might be good for you, but it might be good for everybody. And so getting that quality 7 hours of sleep, or however many 7 to 9 hours of sleep rest each night, is essential for your optimal health. Sleep provides the foundations for all of your daily habits and decisions. So sleep deprivation can negatively affect your mood and your temperament. I know if I don't get enough sleep, I am cranky, for lack of better words. I'm very, very cranky. And as soon as, so we want to make sure that we're able to focus on our daily tasks. Sleep deprivation can also have a significant impact on both your mind and your body as well. Research suggests that sleep plays an important role in memory, both before and after learning a new task. So if you are having trouble with your memory, you might want to get some more sleep. That might be linked to that as well. So lack of adequate sleep affects your mood, your motivation, your judgment, your perception of events. So things that you think might have happened the way that it happened might not have happened the way that it happened, because if you are sleep deprived, it affects our perception. And then although there are some open questions about specific roles of sleep in forming and storing memories, the general consensus is that consolidated sleep throughout the whole night is optimal for learning and memory. So that just means that you're getting your full 7 to 9 hours every night is optimal for learning and memory. So like your sleep hygiene, the benefits is you have improved immune system. It's important. Researchers have found that people who sleep fewer hours a night are more likely to be overweight or obese. This lack of sleep affects the balance of your appetite regulating hormones. And so if you want to maintain or lose weight, if that is a part of your goals, don't forget that getting adequate sleep on a regular basis is a huge part of that equation. So that is maintaining, losing, gaining weight. You want to make sure that you're sleeping as well. It also helps improve your mental health as well, because you feel more energized, you're more alert the next day. Hopefully you're more alert the next day. And being engaged and active not only feels good, but it also increases your next night of good night's sleep. It also has a less risk of diseases as well, and then better physical health, because we are able to, our athletes that have longer sleep was linked to improvement in speed and reaction time, while in women it also helped improve our mobility. So some tips to get some good sleep. Actually, sleep is the word of the week for Fresh on Deck. Hello, everybody. Sleep is the word of the week. So make sure that we have this word sleep when you come visit us at Fresh on Deck, so that you're able to get $10 off of your produce purchase, up to $10 off your produce purchase. I will have our schedule at the end because we will not be going out tomorrow. It is a holiday, the 4th of July. We do, because we are with DeKalb County, we do recognize all DeKalb County holidays. And so we will not be out tomorrow, but we will be out on Wednesday. So I'll have our schedule out for there. So make sure that you have the word sleep when you do come up to do the word of the week. So some tips to improve sleep is that we want to make sure that we have healthy eating habits. We don't want to skip breakfast or any meal for that matter, but we want to be consistent with our eating patterns. So if you're always eating 3 to 5 meals per day, and suddenly changing that also might affect how well you sleep. So if you never eat before bed, suddenly doing so might make it harder to fall asleep, and it could also decrease your sleep quality. So if you are, you're one of those people that I'm always in bed by 10 or by 9 o'clock, my lights are always off. And then you have, or I always eat at 7, so I'm in bed by 9, whatever, if you're that kind of person. And then you have a late night, or you go out to a concert or whatever the case may be, and you eat a little bit later, and then you're like, I cannot get to sleep. That might be why. We don't want to change our habits. is it could decrease our sleep quality. And this is especially true if you never eat meat before bed and then you randomly start to do so as well. Also, we want to make sure that or if you are wanting to improve your sleep, you can eat foods that help with sleep as well. So melatonin is a substance that naturally occurs in our brains and in the foods that we eat. And it also helps us sleep. So there are foods that are higher in melatonin. So like tart cherries, almonds, and raspberries, and then things like bananas, tomatoes, spinach, corn, rice, rolled oats, and walnuts, peanuts, mustard seeds, and flax seeds are some natural foods that are naturally occurring in melatonin. Vitamin D. So studies have shown that low levels of this vitamin in our bodies can also contribute to poor sleep. So getting a good source of vitamin D is the sun. You can soak up some rays in the sun. Make sure you wear your sunscreen. You can get some vitamin D that way, but then there's also some foods that are higher in vitamin D, like mushrooms, fatty fishes like salmon and tuna, egg yolks, and foods that are like fortified, like orange juices and some cereals and things like that. And then also one of the other best ways of improving your sleep is to turn off your devices and televisions before you go to bed. So we want to try not to get any less than those 6 to 8 hours of sleep per night. And so we don't want to expose ourselves to bright lights or loud noises within 2 to 3 hours of bedtime. So sorry, 4th of July, you hear all the fireworks happening at night now. So that might be, your sleep might be interrupted that way. But too much light can signal to your body that you should be staying awake. So having your phone in your face or your television on, it could be too bright, and that makes you just want to stay up later, or not wanting to go to bed. So we want to try to dim as many lights as possible and turn off bright overhead lights, and avoiding our computers, tablets, cell phones, and TV at least an hour before bed. Yes, to the people that sleep with their television on. Turning your television off might help you get better sleep. We also don't want to try to consume large amounts of sugary foods and beverages, and then also trying not to consume caffeine before bedtime as well. And so this is just some of the ways that we can improve our sleep. Like the trend is sleep syncing, or having our sleep hygiene. So making sure that we have a routine. And so this is one of the ways, is developing a sleep plan, because sleep is such an important part of our health as well. It's not just what you eat, or, if you're exercising, that is a part of it, but it's also making sure that you're resting. Your body is very important to our health. And so if you are having issues falling asleep, or you can also talk to your primary care physician, but then you can also develop a sleep plan. So everybody has different schedules. Some people have night shifts. Some people sleep better. I don't know. They just have different schedules. And so we want to kind of ask ourselves, what is the most important component for us to have a restful night's sleep? Is it making sure that our room is a little bit colder, or, we have our blackout shades because the light from the street light is coming in and, hitting us in the face in the middle of the night? And then also, how can we improve our sleep patterns? So, and then what challenges will keep you from following a new sleep plan? Or do you have a new child? Do you have a new puppy? Do you have a dog that likes to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning and go to the bathroom, AKA me? No matter how many times I take her out before bed, sometimes she just gets up and she's like, I gotta go to the bathroom. So is it your dog that has to do that? Or what are some of those challenges that can keep you from following a new sleep plan? And then also, what are some strategies for a restful night's sleep? Is it putting your phone on do not disturb so that you don't get incoming text messages from friends or family members? Is it, they have like you can set your phone screen brightness, and it can turn or dim down lower, depending on what phone you have at a certain time. So at 9 o'clock, turn that on, where it comes on automatically, so that your phone dims down, so that you're able to start getting into that routine. Are you a journaler before you go to sleep? Sometimes you have the racing mind, and you have lots of ideas and plans, and you have, what am I going to do tomorrow? in your head all night long, and you're stewing over what's happening for the next day, but you need to go to sleep right now, writing that out before you go to bed so that you have a plan for the next day. Is that going to be one of those strategies that help you get a restful night's sleep? So keep some of these things in mind. And then also, if you're just a late night person, and you want to try to go to bed earlier, start your schedule with going to bed or trying to go to bed a little bit earlier every night. So if you're somebody that goes to sleep at midnight, try 11:45 or 11:30 and see how that works. And then the next few nights, then try for 11 o'clock and see how that works as well. And so, like we were always been saying, start small so that you're able to make those goals, your SMART goals happen. And so this is the recipe of the week. It is the summer corn salad. We will have corn this week at the market. So if you're excited for corn, I'm excited for corn. I'm always excited for corn. But this is one of the summer corn salads. It has hot sauce. It has cherry tomatoes, cucumbers, red onions. You can use crumbled feta cheese, lime juice. It has all the good flavors all mixed in one. And so next is going to be the video for the summer corn salad. So that is the summer corn salad. I love any kind of those corn salads that you can eat with a tortilla chip or have it just on the side, as a side. But those are one of those dishes, like those My Plate dishes, that has multiple things in it. So you have your vegetables and you also have dairy in there. If you wanted to add in and also your grain with the corn. And so you have lots of different things in there as well. And so this is just one of the physical activity suggestions that I give every week. I know we had one from before, the seated one, but this is like a 20-minute Pilates class. And so the Pilates is something that you wanted to try, give it a try at home. And so this is just one of those videos I like showing that have people that might look like you, that might not look like you, that are showing different abilities, and so that you can get an idea for what you like to do or what you don't want to do. And so this is a 20 minutes Pilates class, and so I'm just going to show just a little snippet of it, and then we'll go ahead and finish up for this week.
Treasure buried deeper within. catastrophic thoughts, insecurity, distorted flaws.
So I like showing those different types of physical activity suggestions just to give people a general idea of where they might want to start. And so if you want to do something that's from your home that might be lower impact or something like that, then you can give that video a try. I also have my email at the end. So if you want to look at the first video that I showed of the seated cardio or the Pilates class, then feel free to email me or message me and I can give you the links for those videos there. So just some take-home messages for the week is the 5 W's, the who, what, where, when, and why, making sure that we are just vetting the information on the internet, because anybody can put anything on the internet. You, me, anybody else can put anything on the internet. So just making sure how we can do our research, excuse me, and where is it coming from so that we're able to make the best informed decision for ourselves. Also, I like to just tell everybody, make sure you're consulting with your physician, your primary care doctor before trying any new health and wellness trend, making sure that it doesn't interact with a certain medication or that you're just able physically to do something, making sure that you're talking to your physician before you do that. And then if it's too good to be true, it probably is. So keep that in mind when you're looking at certain diets or whatever the case may be on the internet, on social media, so that we're able to make good decisions for ourselves. So when we're talking about setting goals, I've always talked about this. This is not my last time talking about it, talking about our SMART goals and how we're able to do something. So if you have goals that you wanted to set for yourself, or you have like big goals that you want to set for yourself, big goals are good, but we can also turn those into smaller goals to help you build habits out of them. And so I'm going to be healthy is a great goal to have, but how can we make it specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound? You can change that goal and make it into, not change it, but modify it into, beginning this weekend, I'll fill 2/3 of my plate with fruits and vegetables at every meal 4 days a week. And like I was saying before, my goal is not your goal, which is not somebody else's goal. So this is somebody else's goal. And if that does not fit for you, you can always change it. And so make it modify for yourself. So beginning this weekend, I'll fill 2/3 of my plate with fruits and vegetables at one meal 3 days this week, 2 days this week, whatever the case may be, for a month or for however many weeks the next session for session B is going to be. So you want to make sure that they're specific, make sure it's measurable, make sure it's attainable to have, so that you're not setting yourself up for failure, making sure that you're able to have long-term success with these smaller goals. Also, a goal could be, I want to exercise more. I want to be more physically active, but that's a really big goal. But how can we make it more smart, or a SMART goal is beginning Monday, I'll do at least 30 minutes of activity 5 days a week. And so like I was saying, that's somebody else's goal. So what your goal could be, or if you want to change that or modify it, is I'll do at least 5 minutes of physical activity 2 days this week, just to get started, just to see how it works for me, see what I need else to change, or you might have to modify that goal while you're doing it to see what works best for you. And that could be for 1 week or for 2 weeks, for 3 weeks, however long that duration is. We want to make sure we have a deadline that we can work with as well. So my name is Jamil Hawkins. My email address is JAM as in Mary, ILLE, period, Hawkins, HAWKI, N as in Nancy, S, @uga.edu. And you can send me a message if you have any questions, or if you want to talk through some things, whatever the case may be with these lessons, then feel free to message me. You can find all of our up-to-date information on our Facebook and Instagram, which is Fresh on Deck. And then also you can find this video recording that will be posted to YouTube on freshondeck.com. So if you have friends or family members that are not on social media, not on Facebook or things like that, and they want to be able to watch this video or this recording of these classes or any of the previous recordings, they're all on our Fresh on Deck, but they're also all on our YouTube page, which is DeKalb County Extension Services. And so you can find us there if you want to go back throughout the weeks and look at some more of these classes. On the right side, every week I ask you all to do our evaluation. Here's the QR code if you're on your computer, and you can scan it with your phone camera. And then also here is the shortened link for your web address, the bit.ly 2SYQ2A small s or lowercase s, excuse me. And so that is the web address for the evaluation as well. So like I was saying before, our 4th of July holiday, all sites for Tuesday are canceled for the 4th of July holiday. We do observe all DeKalb County holidays, but the normal schedule will resume Wednesday, June 5th, 2023. And so you can use the word of the week that you have learned before in our class, right? Our word of the week that you receive in our class a little bit before, and then you can use that for the schedule. So because we will not be out on Tuesday, you will see us Wednesday at Scott Candler Library and Lou Walker Senior Center. You'll see us Thursday at Clarkston Community Center and Eastlake YMCA. And then you also see us Friday at the Reserve at Hairston Lake and the DeKalb County Extension Office off Memorial Drive. So we'll be off Candler Road, we'll be off Panola Road, we'll be off in Clarkston, we'll be off Eva Davis Way, and Eastlake will be off North Harrison and also Memorial Drive, so that you all can catch us for our last week of session A. This is our week 8 for session A, and so we will be taking a week to regroup. And so Fresh on Deck will restart for session B July 17th. And we have a whole new set of locations that we'll be at. So we'll be at Embark Community Youth Center off Rock Chapel Road in Lithonia. We'll also be at the Norris Lake Community Center off Norris Lake in Snellville. It's right on that DeKalb County line. And then we'll be at South DeKalb Senior Center. We'll be at Stone Mill Elementary School. We'll be at Redan Recreation Center, the Crest Center off Candler Road. We'll be at Starn Center Senior Community in Clarkston. And then also we'll be at the DeKalb County Extension Office again. So these are going to be our if you don't catch us this week, we'll be back July 17th through September 8th, and we all hope to see you all there. So thank you all, everybody. I hope you all have a great holiday, and we'll see you all out at the week. Thank you.
Ms. Hawkins?
Yes.
I'm sorry, this is Teresa Gaston. I had to take an emergency call when you gave the word for the day. I'm sorry.
Okay, give me just a second.